Hi, I'm Judy Musa, a partner at Mojo Collaborative Communications. I'm speaking today with Jennifer Truesdale, CPO and President of Straighten Up, located in Charleston, South Carolina. She's a national board member of NAPO, the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. Today, we'll be speaking about back to school tips for kids and adults who are addressing the challenges of ADHD. Welcome, Jennifer. Sounds like you have tips for adults, but do you also have some tips for parents of children with ADHD as they go back to school shortly in just a few weeks?
Yes, I do. I actually have five really simple ones. Um, First one is if it ain't broke. So go back and review what worked in the previous school years and reflect on those successful habits and routines and what worked well for the student and continue those same routines whenever possible. If they need to be developing all new routines, it's a new school, new environment. Start with breaking down their particular needs into categories such as what will the new school require or the new schedule require, like building new routines as needed and planning it out on a daily, weekly, monthly calendar. Tip number two, stick to the schedule. You want to predetermine what the weekly schedule requirements are so you can plan for these blocks of time for work and study, and then also blocks of time for fun and relaxation. It's really important to note that it's critical for breaks for that brain refocusing. So some of the things you can do, you can start determining how you're going to identify your priorities. Are you going to make lists? Are you going to color code your tasks? Lots of different ways you can do that. And you also want to listen to the student. Let them help with the design so that they have some ownership in the routines that are established. And of course, that's age dependent, but you also want to plan for work in smaller increments, like 30-minute increments is optimal. 25 minutes of study, and then take a 5-minute break doing something completely different than what you were doing, allowing the brain to refocus. And then the third tip, adjusting to the new normal. Start preparing for these new routines a couple weeks in advance so the student has a chance to get used to their new schedule so their body can readjust. Sleep is most important. You want to make sure that they're getting 8 hours of sleep so you can figure out what time they're going to need to get up in the morning in order to be in school on time, and then work backwards. Count 8 hours backwards. 8 or 9 hours is when they should be focusing on going to bed so that they can be asleep and get plenty of rest. Also, nutrition. Nutrition plays a big role in energy levels and performance peaks. So, planning meals is important to maintain that healthy energy level throughout the day. Fourth, meet the teachers. Whenever possible, a student and possibly their parents, depending on their age and the grade they are, they should meet with their teachers in advance so that the educators can be informed of any challenges the student might face. They might be able to adapt or enhance their teaching methods to address those challenges. This varies depending on the age and the level of school, of course, but either the parent or the student can advocate for themselves to get that support that they need. When you're there and you're meeting the teacher, you can also take it upon yourself to do a mini orientation at the school so that the student can become familiar with the school grounds and the classrooms where walk out his schedule or his or her schedule. Discuss ways that with the teacher that the child can stay on track in class and at home when they're studying. Teachers can also develop testing teaching methods using intervals for focus shifts. The parent or the student will want to confirm with the teacher or the school if something like this is offered. And then, of course, the most important, follow up with the teachers on their progress because you want to make sure that what's in place is working before it's too late to make changes or change grades. You want to make sure that you're staying on top of that. And then fifth, entering the study zone, you want to make sure that you're preparing a dedicated study zone at home. You'll want to have all the essentials that they need. You'll want to make sure that you're in a location that's going to have minimal distractions. Standard supplies are going to be things, like your calendars and your daily planners, maybe an organizer for the supplies on the table or the desk surface, or maybe you have a desk and you have a drawer to have your supplies organized. Whiteboards or places to highlight priorities and due dates, and then supplies for keeping the information in order, whether you're going to use folders or binders or files. Um, it's also important to not set up the area in a busy traffic space of the home or by a window for those distractions. Maybe the student is sharing the workspace with someone, so you can consider things like those large cardboard project boards. They're like trifold boards. You can stand those up on a flat surface and use them as a divider for visual distraction. You can also determine if like having some white noise in the background will help block everything out for the student. But one thing that's really important as well is many times students with ADHD will be taking medications. So taking those medications at certain times of the day may affect how people, they're going to affect people differently. So plan study around when those medications are most effective. But all of these things, students are going to have varying organizing and productivity needs depending on, their age and their grade levels, as well as their different levels of understanding their own challenges with ADHD. So if they do opt for individual help, it would be customized based on the client's skills, their self-knowledge, and their learning styles.
So, anyone who's looking for more productivity tips and ideas or needs an expert to help them along the way, there are plenty of people at NAPO that can help them. Jennifer is one of more than 3,500 experts in the arena. And these ladies and gents are really working very hard to help students of all ages with ADHD, as well as all kinds of productivity and organizing challenges. Thanks so much today for speaking with us. We really appreciate your time and your help with talking about ADHD and getting kids ready for school and adults too. Thanks.
Thank you.